Car 58, OK7. Car 50 takes this call. Jefferson and Lincoln. Traffic accident. Ambulance follow-up. Code 3, 6:03 p.m.
5-6 to Control 1, reporting in service. Starting mileage 9835, 9835.
1 to 5-6. Mileage 9835, 6:04 p.m. Unit 5-6 reporting in service on the Nightwatch.
This is Donn Reed, a police recorder. Right now, you're riding in Detective Unit 5-6. And that was Sergeant Ron Perkins just reporting us in service on the Nightwatch. While you're with us tonight, remember, I'm recording this as it happens. And the people you meet are not actors. You see, this is it. This is real. This is Nightwatch.
Nightwatch, the actual on-the-scene report of your police force in action. There are no actors. There is no script. Every voice, every sound is authentic. The investigations are recorded as they actually occur. Nightwatch, presented with the cooperation of the Police Department of Culver City, California. W.N. Hidebrande, Chief. We switch you now to Detective Unit 5-6, somewhere in the field, and to police recorder Donn Reed.
5-3 clear. KMA 394.
5-6 to 1, we're at Overland and Washington Place. We've got a 214 here in front of the bar. Will you send a uniform unit down here, code 2?
1 to 5-6-10-4. Car 50 at Overland and Washington Place. 214 in the street. Meet Detective Unit 5-6, code 2.
Well, we have a 214 fight going just across the street in front of a bar.
5-2 to Control 1. We're right on top of this 214 call. You want us to take it? Control 1 to 5-2, 10-4. Car 50 cancel. 5-2 will handle.
Things are moving very fast. We're right in the middle of the highway waiting for a break in the traffic. Now we got it swinging around. We have a clear shot here now, heading back. That uniform car that just radioed in is pulling up to the curb. We're swinging in behind. Here's the quick picture. 2 men, 2 women pushing each other around. Things are getting a little rough right here. The uniformed officer, Al Arnold, and his partner wading into the argument. We're in plain clothes. Psychologically, it's best for uniformed boys to handle. We'll stand by just in case things get out of hand.
No, you won't.
I will.
You know you won't.
I will. I won't take that to
Please
anybody.
don't. Now, come on, now. You'll be over it tomorrow, please.
Just hold everything, will you? What's trouble?
He just called me Scum.
No.
He said I was more than a snake.
Yeah,
I have worked in this bar for 5 years.
Well, that's what hurt your pride. See?
And I have never...
coming back. Don't worry about it. Look, you know what you're mad at?
And he got me fired from working.
You didn't get fired, I'll bet you.
I'll send a complaint, okay?
No. You know you'll be working here next week.
Well, then I'll send a complaint just because I won't put up with him.
You've had more insults than these guys ever gave you.
Not
Never.
Whoa, let's break this up.
We're not going to have the argument on the file. Which one of you called her the name?
Well, you've been drinking, you know that.
I have not.
I'll bet you have. I'll take a sobriety test against you anytime.
All right.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute.
Because I fought her.
Why get her mad, though? Don't get anybody mad.
You never bought me a drink in your life, and you know it.
What's the difference?
Well, then why make a statement?
May I ask you a question? What do you got to do with the argument?
Well,
Nothing.
play. It's my buddy.
Well, that don't enter a thing. The argument's between the young lady and this fella. Now, I just advise you to keep out of it. Now, take some advice. And you too, fella. Will you please keep We'll try to settle this without a mouth like that. Just be on your way.
Ask the policeman here what I said.
Well, now, I'm not asking the policeman. I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, I said a bad name. I apologize.
Did you apologize to her?
Yes, I did.
And then what did you walk up to the bar and say to me?
About what?
You said that I was lower than Scum.
After what you said to me, did I not apologize to you? You tell the truth, I'll tell the truth.
I did.
Did I apologize to you before you said it to me? I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I'm sorry for it. I'm still sorry for it. I didn't mean to say it.
That's
sorry. All together, she walked out here. She just mad tonight.
Control 1 is calling us on the radio. Okay. Let's get over to our car. But just glancing back, the uniformed officers have settled this little discussion. The man is heading north and the woman south. That takes care of that.
5-6, we were out of the car. Go ahead.
1 to 5-6, are you clear?
5-6, Roger.
Control 1 to 5-6. Unit 5-3 has been dispatched to 2931 Ingersoll Place to see the woman about a possible assault. This is near your present location. Will you follow up?
5-6 to 1, Roger. You might tell 5-3 we'll be there in a couple of minutes.
1 to 5-3, Detective Unit 5-6 rolling.
Well, this seems to be our night for assaults. Thinking of that woman heading south. Be interesting to know what she called that fellow. On second thought, maybe we better skip it. When we get through this next signal, skip over a couple of side streets, we'll be there. Apparently there isn't a rush on this call, or Control 1 would have given us a code. That is something like Code 2, roll with your red light, or Code 3, hit that siren. Anyway, apparently there's not too much rush, but it should be right up here about the next block. Can't be too far ahead. In fact, here comes our uniform car from the opposite direction. See their spotlight searching out the numbers along the street. Apparently is up here just a couple of 100 yards. That's Unit 5-3 up there that's stopped. And we're going to pull right in front of them. Here we are. The crew, Officers Good and Cameron, are going to investigate the trouble. It's a small bungalow, middle-aged man and woman waiting for us. Man holding his face. I don't see what the reason for this is.
So he come in the store. We were watching television. He knocked at the door, and my husband opened the door, and his wife came in, and they'd both been drinking. And my husband, he said something about, why do you pick on my wife every time she's in the yard? And then he giddy up and slapped my husband across the mouth.
Well, let me explain it.
I did. Right here.
You asked us already.
I absolutely did.
Well, here's the way it was.
And then I said, that's settled. There's no more trouble with you. And I got to
They both come in here, and he was sorry again, and I said, well, what do you pick on my wife all the time? Why don't you come and tell me, you see? And you took his hands right across the face there, and you knock any teeth. And
no.
He just like to just...
But, you know, it's not that.
For no reason. I don't know why. I said, why did you pick on her? Every time she was out there, he picked on her, you know? Do you want to sign a complaint against this person, too? Oh.
Yes, sign it and have on file up there. And the next time
you
come
well, here's the situation. It's not a matter of being on file. It's a matter of if you sign a complaint against him, he'll be served with a warrant and put in jail.
If there's some way we can have him know to let us... He even come over here one time drunk, him and her, and they call me dirty names.
Well, I'll tell you, we can advise this person on the seriousness of it, of the assault. And chances are he'll never try this again. But if you want to sign a complaint against this person... we can sign it in the district attorney's office, and chances are the warrant will be served, and this man will be put in jail and tried.
Well, when can you tell him?
Talk to him right away if you want it that way. Yes, ma'am.
If you don't want to press charges, then we'll just make a verbal advisory on this now.
That's right. I want him to know that if you don't leave me alone, I am going to take action. I told him that, but he don't seem to heed it.
Well, we'll have to talk. For no reason he had to back me.
Well, see, now you're in a position now where you can go up, sign a complaint against him for assault.
We don't want no trouble. Understand? We live here. We stay in our own place. We keep our dogs.
That's what I told him.
Other people don't
bother you. Why do you bother us?
He's in the back there.
If there's anything else like this ever happens, I want you to give us a call. And
we will. I intend to do it.
We'll let him know now that it's a serious matter. Okay, you got it.
Victim doesn't wish to sign a complaint, so we'll just advise the other couple. Two very large Great Dane dogs blocking the door. Guess I've seen ponies smaller than these fellows. Well, here are the two participants in the quarrel. Man and wife, both middle-aged, 50s, heavy set. each armed with a bottle of beer. The woman struggling with one dog. The other is in the process of bowling me over. So the woman and one officer is wrestling one of the dogs, a big fellow. The other is trying very playfully to remove my coat sleeve with my arm in it. Every man for himself. Trying to get him in the bedroom. Well, now let's see what it's all about.
Is your husband the gentleman that shot your neighbor next door?
No, that I know of.
Here's the situation. We got a call in here on assault. You want to come back here, sir? We're talking to you. We go over next door here and hit this man across the face with the back of your hand.
I did not.
I know this is the store, I think, do we?
No, we don't.
These people are ready to sign a complaint against you unless you start staying in your own yard and leave them alone. Understand?
I understand.
You're not supposed to go into someone else's house, especially when they're drinking, and go up and smack a guy across the face. That's a good way to end up.
Are you accusing me of that, sir?
I'm telling you what the gentleman next door told us. He happens to have a witness to the fact that it happened.
His wife. We were in the house, yes.
What happened tonight?
Well, my husband rang the doorbell. And I came behind. And then she came out, and then she said, well, she's ready to keep you. Come on, let's go get the cops.
I'll make the next call.
Wait just a minute.
We'll make the next call.
Listen.
No, honey.
These officers just went next door and talked to that side and heard their side of the story. They want to hear your side of the story to hear it.
Perhaps I was wrong.
You did hit him, though. You did hit him with the back.
I did not.
Well, sir, you might as well tell us because they're not pressing charges on you at this time. And they're going to be very fair about it. So you have no reason to lie to us in any way because we're not going to harm you.
Did you push him?
We just want to keep the peace.
Well, that's what I want to do, is keep the peace.
Where have you been drinking tonight, sir?
There?
In my home. I never drink any place but my home.
Well, did you
No,
put
we
it,
never
did you
did.
lay a hand on him?
I did not lay hands.
No, he's not there.
Why would they call the police?
Ask the person that is trying to cause trouble.
Well, if these officers came down here interested in keeping the peace, keeping people quiet.
Yes.
If they have a return call down here, then they're going to do something about it.
Well, why can't I turn around and make a call and call you gentlemen down here under the same circumstances?
Present time, you're drunk. You're intoxicated.
I'm in my home.
Doesn't make any difference. You're creating a disturbance.
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
That you can go to jail, despite the fact you're in your own home.
Yes, sir.
So if these officers come down here and return call, somebody's going to jail.
And is there any time that I cannot call them? At 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll call. And will you give them the same courtesy that you're giving me?
If you have a legitimate reason to call the police will answer the call.
The word that goes on.
Sir, do you think because they gave you a break, you might give them a break and stay away from there?
Why, when did they give me a break?
Now, wait a minute. They've given you the break, they're not signing a complaint on it this time for assault.
I just as soon as they sign a complaint, because if they want to dig me, I'll dig them.
Well, you're in no position to do anything at the present time. You're intoxicated.
They're not
willing. They don't want to sign a complaint. The only thing they want is to be left alone over there. Same respect. You people want to be left alone.
They don't. Not Daddy.
So you think that you can stay here and keep quiet, and they'll stay over there and keep quiet. Okay?
I will not promise that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We come down here again, somebody's going to jail.
Chances are it'll be you, sir, because you're the intoxicated one.
I'll take a chance on that.
No.
You're controlling them?
No. Listen, I've been married to him for 23 years.
Just keep it quiet here, and they'll keep it quiet, then everybody be happy.
Thank you very much, sir.
Right.
Night.
Heading back now to our radio unit. Situation is pretty well cleared up.
Well, they were sure a couple of big dogs, weren't they?
Yeah. It's the first time I ever wrestled one that outweighed me.
5-6 to Control 1. Clear on the assault call. Advised. 5-3 has a report. Control 1 to 5-6, roger. 5-6, will you meet the captain's unit 5-0 at 3601 Barbara? They have a burglary suspect in custody. Request to contact them at once. 5-6, roger. We're rolling.
You are listening to Nightwatch and following the activities of a detective unit on its tour of duty. Remember, the people and sounds you are hearing are real, and the investigations are recorded in the field as they actually occur. We'll bring you the final results of tonight's action at the conclusion of Nightwatch. Can you spare $10 to help feed a family of 4 for a month? If you can, send it to CARE, together with your name and address, and that of some needy relative or friend in Europe or Israel, India, Pakistan, Japan, Okinawa, or the Philippines. CARE will do the rest and guarantees delivery. The address is simply CARE. CARE, New York. CARE is the sure, economical way to send food and clothing abroad. And now we switch you to Detective Unit 5-6, somewhere in the field, and your police recorder, Donn Reed.
Moving into the location where one of our units has a burglary suspect in custody. Here's the picture. Uniform car parked at curb. Suspect in the back. Arms behind him. Apparently handcuffed.
We got him in custody over here. They're going to take him in?
Suspect for a few minutes. He admits breaking into the building all right, but says he just wanted to use a phone.
You want to take on with your juvenile or what? Have him take him on in, and we'll talk to him when we get down the station.
Suspect is not a juvenile. Moving into the house. Man and wife, victims waiting for us. Captain Lulu checking over a report of a uniformed officer.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, all we know is when we came to the door, it was bolted, you see. We couldn't do the lock. And then we heard someone in here, and we could hear him moving in here. Well, he was trying to get this thing down.
Trying to get out of the building.
Getting out of the building.
I told her, there's somebody in here.
And then we could hear him.
Was he trying to get out of the window when you came in? Is that?
We don't know. He said that he was. The window was open when we came back.
To the window.
Was you over here by the window trying to get out?
Well, the window was open. We had closed it since.
Well,
and he took this down.
You didn't leave it open yourself.
No.
In other words,
no.
he did this himself.
Uh-huh.
Well, the way it stands now, he's been taken to the police station. He's going to be booked for suspicion of burglary, and the investigation will reveal whatever it may.
Uh-huh.
So it'll just have to take its course.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Fine. Just whatever.
Over next to the windows.
Take these along. Take a burglar tools.
Sergeant Perkins gathering up a bunch of tools used by the suspect to pry open the window. Hammer, screwdriver, crowbar.
Give this to Perk. The captain wants to check out the address.
Yeah, will do. Perk?
Yeah.
The suspect's name and address.
Oh, good. Let's go over and shake his house.
Okay, I'm with you.
You are? Then you won't mind help carry these tools.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, this isn't in my contract.
5-6 to 1 on this 459 call. We're going over to check out the suspect's house. We hold him in the detention room, and we'll talk to him as soon as we get to the station. 4-5-6, 10-4. We'll advise the booking sergeant. KMA 394.
arriving now at the home of the burglary suspect. Lives on the second floor. It's a modest apartment building. Number 2. It's this one here on the left-hand side.
Hello. We're from the police department. I think we have your son in jail. Can we come in and talk to you a minute, please? Explain to you.
Mother motioning us in.
We caught him in a building tonight up in Culver City. And we wanted to come down here with your permission, kind of look things over and see if he has anything that he shouldn't have.
You mean on his body?
Yes, ma'am. You sit down if you want, ma'am.
I'll be all right. Trying shopping for me.
Certainly. And he tells us that he was trying to make a long-distance telephone call to his sister. In this particular case, and he's committed a felony so he could make a telephone call, if his story is...
Well, I have a daughter in New York, of course.
We'd just like to look around if we may. We'd like to have you with us just to see if there's anything here that...
I don't think there is, but you can come over.
We'd like to look at his bedroom more than anything else. I'll explain the situation a little bit. Right next door to us, they've had a number of thefts of automobiles. Well, if there's any automobile parts or anything like that, that's...
Into the suspect's bedroom.
This is the only bag that he's had. I wouldn't feel my boy for a minute if he's wrong about anything.
Well,
I'm very much shocked about it. Here's, pardon me.
Sure.
This is his clothes here.
Just the usual assortment. Pretty much routine.
Have your son ever been in any trouble at all?
No, he hasn't. Never. He never has.
Would he, do you suppose you have any particular reason for going into this building to make a phone call instead of maybe making it a pay phone or
I
something like
couldn't
that?
tell you that. I can't understand why he would do a thing like that. I really can't tell you. He might have been trying to get in touch with my girl.
Is there any, your boys are real pretty truthful and...
He always has been.
How old is he?
He's 25.
25. Thank you very much, ma'am. We're going back to the station and talk to your son. Good night.
In front of me is a two-way mirror. Looking into the interrogation room, Sergeant Perkins is on the phone, running a record check. Suspect is sitting at the desk, nervously trying to light a cigarette. Nice-looking young fellow, crew cut, horn-rimmed glasses. Now let's move on into the office.
That's about all we'll need. Thanks very much. Okay, good night. All right, now let's have the straight story. What were you doing in that building?
I wanted to call back to New York to speak to my sister. Just as I was starting to use the phone, they drove up, and I got nervous and locked the door because I knew I wasn't supposed to be in there.
Did you have permission to go into the building?
No, I didn't.
What were you going to do, make a long-distance call on their phone?
Yes, I was.
Charge it to them?
No, I wasn't.
Well, how were you going to pay for it?
I'd give them the money.
When? In the morning?
No, when I got paid.
Well, do you have an emergency call to make to the
No, I just wanted to speak to my sister.
You have a phone at your house?
I have a phone at my apartment. They didn't implant Maggie's apartment. But she doesn't like people to be using it for long-distance telephone calls.
You had no business in that building, otherwise.
I know I didn't. I know I'll admit that.
Were you going to go out the window?
I was trying to see if I could go.
Do you realize what you've done tonight?
Yes, I
committed
know.
a felony just to make a telephone call?
I know I did.
Taking a chance of getting shot?
Yes, I know. It's awful stupid and idiotic.
Brought disgrace upon your folks?
I know it.
You put now on a charge of burglary. Illegal entering of a building without the owner's permission. Do you know what the penalty in burglary calls for?
No, sir, I don't.
In Section 459 of the Penal Code, two types of burglary, burglary in the first degree and in the second degree. First degree is committed by a person armed with a deadly weapon which you were not armed with. And all other types of burglaries are considered as second degree. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail not exceeding 1 year, or in the state prison for not less than 1 or more than 15 years. So you stand by making foolish phone call, you stand to
Make 15 minutes, I guess.
a long time for a phone call.
What you have just heard is real, recorded as it actually happened on the Nightwatch. And now back to police headquarters and Chief W.N. Hidebrande.
As you followed our officers on the tour of Nightwatch tonight, you can see the diversified problems that come up in police work. In the first case, for example, two families quarreling was settled by merely advising that a reoccurrence of tonight's events could result in the subjects being arrested. The second investigation, the couple arguing on the street, likewise received a similar warning. In the final case of the suspect trapped in the building, he was booked on suspicion of burglary, which carries a sentence of not less than 5 years in the state prison. However, there were extenuating circumstances which the arresting officers included in their report and which the court took into consideration. The suspect was given a suspended sentence and placed on a 2-year probation. We are recording our investigations as they happen on the Nightwatch to show you a police investigation may turn up the evidence to prove a person guilty, or by the same token may clear a suspect of any complicity with a crime. As a peace officer for 29 years, I've come to one conclusion. Police work is much more enjoyable when you help the innocent than when you prosecute the guilty. I hope in a small way this will help you understand our problems as you ride each week on the Nightwatch.
Thank you, Chief Hidebrande. You have been following the on-the-scene reports of your police force in action. Every voice, every sound has been real. Nightwatch, brought to you through the cooperation of the Police Department of Culver City, California, is produced by Sterling Tracy and Jim Hedlock, with technical advice by Sergeant Ron Perkins, and is described in the field by police recorder Donn Reed.